came to my attention, so it's really important that I address this. PopCap, 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 PopCap used everywhere. I don't care. You can't stop me. It's my stream anyway. In we go, because it's time for the most nomad-y of free-for-alls here. It was so nomad. In fact, at the time, every single player in this lobby had nomad in their name, so you really couldn't tell who was who. And oh, that's one of the good things of not actually having our hands on Capture Age, is we can increase the mini-map, which we most definitely need when we're playing on a map this big, because this is the 8-player free-for-all. And every player, as you may be noticing, has picked the Mongols. And we have got some familiar faces in here. The most of you will be familiar with Avali, Beastie, David Kim, which is, of course, Puppy Paw. M7 is a name I've seen around. If I'm not mistaken, they're like ranked, I want to say 400-ish, but I might be wrong. On top of that, we've got Niru, who is, in fact, in the chat right now, watching back all of his critical mistakes or critical successes. We'll have to find out. And then, of course, following up, I'm sure we're all familiar with State and Core. The Mr. Munch is not one I'm familiar with. I'm not sure if they are high ranked. I believe BC was, in some cases, you know, filling a few gaps. Actually, Mr. Munch is 125th. Ah, interesting. So this is okay, this is pretty cool then. We get to highlight someone completely new in terms of, like, me seeing them. Because I've never seen this person before, but they're currently ranked 125th on the leaderboards. Impressive. Surprised I didn't notice them sooner. I'm curious to see what they can do here. Apparently, they're usually a Conqueror 2-3, but they're having one hell of a season here to be up at rank 125th. Now, admittedly, it is a little bit easier to kind of get yourself into that position at the moment with a lot of the highest level players scrimming as opposed to practicing on the ladders, but still, it's impressive. Some people saying, is Mr. Munch in the Golden League too? Is he? Did I just not notice him? Have we just not had a chance to cast him yet? Because I've been working most days. And that noise tells you that my Control F cannot find anything. So Mr. Munch does not exist in Golden League. It was all a myth. But definitely curious to see what they can do. And by the way, as I said, these guys all named themselves. It was No and then a space Mad. Which I really wish it would save that detail, because I genuinely don't want to know when I get into these who is who. I'd rather just keep it for the revelation at the end. And yes, just to let people know ahead of time, I will also be casting the 4v4s. I just wanted to, you know, start where it began. Humble beginnings to wherever this leads. So looking at the spawn-wise, Core and Puppy Paw are in kissing distance, and Core learns that the hard way. Ooh. Walking straight underneath the TC. They're actually contesting the same gold. Oh, no, now, if Puppy Paw plays the northern side, he might just be out of TC range. It's going to be insanely tight, though. I'll have to see. Meanwhile, just checking on the water side. Looks like only a few people opted towards it here. Love the position from Beastie. Beastie got one of the best positions here. He's tight and means he's kind of hidden, right? Like the stealth forest plus the frontal side means he shouldn't have many angles to cover. It can be risky. The only downside I do see is a lack of gold. That's going to be very problematic. Meanwhile, upriver, Nero got probably the best location, actually, right? Like, it's not as, maybe, as easily defendable, but he's got a lot of stealth forest to kind of shroud him. On top of that, he's got access to gold, wood, and immediate fishing close by. This is probably the S-tier spawn of all the players so far. I'm looking for the rest, and State, you know, he's a little bit loose. He's got safe gold on the backside. Actually, down here, Avali also got a phenomenally good spot. I feel like I just keep teeter-totter in between them as I look through, and I think like the ranking here, like I was somewhat impressed with BC's choice to be on the fishing. Then Nero came over the top, but then Avali, because he got this corner spawn and he's got a big fat stone outcropping behind him, I would probably give him the best position. And he's got a lot of room that he can extend into, right? As you move past this early phase of the game, there's just so much open field to expand into. So this looks like a really good game for Avali. We'll see how it plays out as time goes on. And of course, you know, you got to give a lot of respect to Mr. Munch, just finding an entire corner to himself. He's got a decent amount of gold back here. A triple stone outcropping. You barely have to move any of your infrastructure, right, to double produce. Pretty nice. Actually, sorry, no, not triple, quadruple. All right, you can tell this is mega random. This is absurd. I don't think I've seen this many stone outcroppings on one screen in a very long time. And then, of course, M7 rounding out. He has actually got a big pond more or less to himself. The only person who's going to contest him is State. State, who is already moving out there. In fact, I remember usually I like to 2 times the start of this game, especially when it looks like there's not going to be too much aggro either side. Core did go long, by the way. Sorry, Papoy went long, by the way. He actually went ahead and set up a docks on the river, as well as going behind his base to gather gold. So Core will be allowed to exist for the time being. But the more I look at this spawn, the more I cringe. I mean, this is... half of his angles are blocked. Wait, what? And the sheep on the high ground that you can't even have, but that's the small detail. The bigger detail is like angles of approach. Like, it's very easy to kind of box him in. The only upside that Core has in this situation is because everyone is the Mongols, nobody has the ability to wall him. Or I think they might have already started doing so. I'm trying to think, like, what the big edge here is. Like, all Mongols means, like, stone walls aren't going to be there, right? So, in theory, wonders should be less viable in this game compared to, like, you know, when you have your other civs mixed in. Probably a lot of dynamic raids. I think this is a type of civ choice all-rounder that probably doesn't have quick game ends. In the, you know, the most viable play is probably Max Magadai, right? Magadai, dive your opponent's base, kill their eco. But by going Magadai like that, you're killing eco, but you will never kill buildings, right? So you'd have to follow up Horseman, Siege, whatever. On such a big map, that's going to be a slow process. There will at least be some early skirmishes, especially around this area where it looks like Beastie actually has gone for the dock to drop an emplacement here. So he gets into it. Does still need to go for the tech up. Of course, everyone being slow at the beginning because they have to set up where they want to even drop their TC. But yeah, this is a pretty cool play. Great ID by Beastie here. Beastie, who also has an Uvu over in this area, so you could even just double down, get a few archers here, and pepper down all the poor little fishing boats. But Havli does at least have a backup plan. And by the way, remember, the shorelines in these type of matchups are going to inflate you quicker than they used to in the Nomad free-for-alls. You have to remember that they buffed the gathering rate on shoreline fish for boats from 0.63 to 0.7, which is a pretty big increase if you think about it. Like, that's what, 10%? About 10%, maybe 11. 11 or 12, I think it is. BC being a crafty little goose. State doesn't even know. He's too busy turning into a woodpecker here, just munching on all the wood. Because, of course, he has got that farming on the water side going off to the side. And quite the square off here. Double dock on double dock. A lot of fishing vessels out already. But the cool thing for M7 with his position is now he can go around the backside and safely fish here. He's going to lose a villager at least, but the point is, like, past this is going to be kind of a stalemated area where State shouldn't be able to fish freely. M7 will be, though. We can maybe slow us down a bit. Actually, let me get rid of the player score there. I don't know why I got that open still. State, he did get the archers first. Now, this is a play that we were expecting out of Beastie, but Beastie has yet to commit into it. In fact, Beastie, he only went for these outposts. He hasn't built any racks, any archery range, or even any stables. Archers will at least be cleaned up before they can kill off some villagers here, so not too bad for Beastie. Beastie right now has to be praying that after he looked to grief Avali, Avali doesn't look for vengeance, because Avali is in a great position to just essentially like drop stables or drop racks, build a transpo ship, move across, and ruin this whole area. If State doesn't beat him to the punchline, which is exactly what he's doing. 4 horsemen in. That should be enough to bring down the outpost. Like, you can try to garrison here, but this many archers, you're going to lose villagers to keep it up. So that should be a full pushback. BC likely to lose several of his villies. In the corner, Mr. Munch is going multi-TC, as he rightly should. And meanwhile, over in the center, Nero decided he wanted to trade. Look at this cheeky little git. Nice little detail there, right? He has the trade post in the center. He builds one off into the corner. And well, how much are we returning here? That's a decent chunk of cheddar. 90 gold, 9 food, 9 wood. Definitely going to inflate fast, especially when you consider that no one's likely to block his route anytime soon. Like, he's got this kind of upper side of his map to himself. The only person who might contend that area or contest that area rather in several coming minutes is maybe Poppypaw, but I think Poppypaw is more likely to focus in on core. State has had enough of the cheeky shenanigans of Beastie. He will pull all the villagers to eliminate the backside threat, but this is still going to cost him. Remember, there's arrow slits. They will hit a few villages down. Now, of course, you do get paid to burn these outposts, but the idle time alone with this many villages feels like it evens out, if anything. Outpost, wow. Okay, State never got rid of it. So the horseman got cleaned up. Repairs seem to have came out when State wasn't paying attention here, so now he has to pull the villagers to get rid of this. Otherwise, he just wasted so much time and resources for nothing. Look at the pull from Beastie, all the villagers in. They're going to be a little bit too late, though. Now, the problem is that you do have 5 villagers in here, so even if you kill 2 or 3, it's still going to be a bit of a loss for you. He's most definitely going to lose those ones. And it looks like Beastie is thinking about doubling down. Tripling down, even. It's a race. Who wins this? Okay, it's really not that close to a race, guys. It's 11 villagers versus 1. Little Timmy here can dream, but he can't make that dream a reality. So step readout will go up before the second outpost is complete. Arrow slits are coming in, though, and that's going to force an immediate second pull from State. In fact, they stopped building this step readout. Okay, Beastie has to be somewhat okay with this, right? Like, it's not that bad of a situation. Let's check the eco. 44, Beastie, meanwhile, 47. Remember, he has fishing. State has got fishing as well, but his is more likely to be contested. So far, though, him and M7 have just been peaceful. You know, they've contemplated war and instead chosen to coexist. How many traders are we up to now, Nero? Like, bro, do you have any chill? Are you just trying to crash the stock market? Is this GameStop 2.0? 24 traders and booming. Not bad for 14 minutes in the game. Wait. Does he know? Is this collusion? Am I seeing collusion right now? Because Puppy Paw is coming to the same neutral trade post. And Nero could stop this in many different ways. Like, he could move the TC up a little bit. He could have built a production building. But right now, he's just allowing it to beat. And it's kind of important that Puppy Paw gets this, because I'm checking for other neutral trade posts, and the other one is, what, here? Is that it? I think that is it. So, not great options. Speaking of a person who does not have great options, quite often in these games, Core has chosen to dig himself out of a hole. He's wrapped around with the TC placements. And we know what Core is like, right? We know exactly where that Castle Age landmark is going to be. Off in the very furthest away corner where you can't be spotted would be the expectation here. Castle Ages are starting to come out on a lot of the players. And State. So many dead villages. On both sides, really. But State, of course, does have the Lancers out first. And the crossbows. Beastie, however, looks like he's just going to hug the shoreline and rely on war junks to protect him. Because he is moving upriver. Notice this. He went for the crossing. He's setting up to gather around the sacred site. But this will bring him into direct conflict with Puppy Paw at this rate. He's going to want this fishing eco area. You know, it's the kind of the neutral stance that's been taken by several players here, right? We talked about the fact that Puppy Paw could easily be blocked out this gold. The problem is the moment you start blocking a player, they start having a grudge with you, right? There's a rivalry. You don't want to be the first to start making rivalries, right? Because you never know when a third player might just choose to bully you as well, right? So let's say Nero blocks out Puppy Paw here. Well, what's to then say that randomly coming up the river, it's not just Puppy Paw's fleet, but all of a sudden as that gets wiped out, Beastie decides to chase on through. Like, this is the thing that a lot of players have to consider in free-for-alls. It's diplomatic. Let's put it that way. Although I like to use the word collusion. It's very much collusion. Man, this is just getting better and better for Mr. Munch, because Mr. Munch has been trading as well. Not as good as what we've seen on the other side. Also, why is my UI... There we go. Wait, what? Relic? Relic, please. Has this always been there and I've never noticed it? So, like, because you bring free resources, it pushes the UI down. Oops. It's not because of the camera size. It's just, okay. You learn something every day, I guess. Maybe I just never noticed that before. All right, let's see how things are going elsewhere, though, because it looks like Aniru is starting to pick up the relics in the center. Who else is contesting relics right now? We've got multi-TC coming out of Puppy Paw, and he has gone for the Kurultai. And there's a good reason for this, actually. The Kurultai, he could easily use this to go in and try to end Core. Core, who... Can someone help me here? I'm looking for any military production buildings that belong to Teal. And so far, I see 0. Oh my god, he really does have none. Now, I'm not saying what Puppy Paw should do, but if I was in this situation, I feel like this is a teaching moment, you know? Maybe build like 5 or 6 rams, stick a few archers behind it. Educate core. Right, because and this wouldn't be the first time Puppy Paw has educated core, and it'd be the same way as last time. Last time he actually gave him official coaching, he told him to just be better. And that would be, once again, the feedback he'd give. But it looks like Core is going to be allowed to get some military buildings down, so he's going to open up the racks. And because he is up in Castle Age, it should be immediately in the men-at-arms, but might be that he just needs spears. Because Niru is starting to skirmish to the left side here. And Niru, interestingly enough, doesn't really have much to gain in this area. I mean, he could look to secure additional stone outcroppings, maybe he's just thinking long-term for extra gold. Then again, when you build your base on a hill of gold, of literal solid gold, I don't really think that you need more. You know, who am I to tell him how to do things? Niru has decided there is an eternal rule when you play in free-for-alls. Don't trust core, don't like core, go straight for his core. Dive straight into the economy, and well, will you look at that, Mr. Core? We seem to be missing the spearmen to defend, and they are Dark Age spears. Get me out. Okay, sorry, that hardened. They just got upgraded to hardened, but he's Castle Age, damn it. Oh my god, I think Core's going to be first out here. It's just so many Lancers. I mean, he's still got the ecos elsewhere, right? So he doesn't full die right now, but if Niru decides that he's just going to bite down and not let go, if I can hear a growling noise like he's a vicious dog, I can guarantee Core is never going to get back into this unless someone comes and releases him. And that person is on the way. M7. The Riders of Rohirrim are on their way in. There's about a 30% Lancer, 60% Horseman comp. Yes, I know those numbers aren't 100%, because I'm not 100% on the exact numbers, but it feels like double the horses. And Niru, oh my god. After what he just done, could he be the first one out? I mean, he's got Silver Tree and he's got Kurultai in the same area, right? He could just die here. And he's only built stables and archery ranges, so he has no solution to this right now. He'll pack up and leave, and he needs to leave fast. You can't run left. There's no way Cora's going to allow you in the area. Puppy Paw's like to block you out on the north side. Sure, that works too. Niru has lost the TC. Next up on the hit list, Silver Tree. Could be the target, but it looks like instead M7 is going to ensure there is no counterattack option available. He targets the stables. Wow. And Niru, well, it's like you come home to your village and everything's been burnt, right? Your wife is dead, your children are missing. You want vengeance, but trust me, you're not going to get it here. Just a few Lancers come home to an absolute shambles of a base. You can see him packing up. Everything needs to leave. Just send them in different directions. He hasn't even unpacked the Kurultai. The great migration commences. I think M7 just doesn't like trading. It really has that feel about it, doesn't it? It's like, whoa, what's that trade post? Let me just purge everything in that area. My, oh my, and M7. And maybe it's because of the gold. That's another thing to think about here, right? M7 isn't playing trade. There's limited gold in the south. Meanwhile, where has Niru been sitting this whole time? In his golden palace, with his golden chair and his golden wife. Wait, what? Everything is gold. That right now is what this player looks like in terms of rank, because he's going to try to escape through the base of the person that he attacked. Oh, cool. I can already hear his obnoxious voice. Mr. Niru, where are you going? Sorry, let me put on more of an accent. Mr. Niru, where are you going? Where is he going, actually? Has he negotiated with Puppy Paw for this to be okay? Because, like, if someone walked into my territory without my permission, boomstick would be out, my friends. Well, he's at least going to escape for the time being. Sort of. I mean, his Kurultai has been ignored this whole time, guys. At this point, I think he's reached a, if I just don't move, maybe he doesn't notice situation, right? No, you're moving again. Don't move. Just stay perfectly still. Oh, God, chased him! Core. I mean, he does not forget. Beastie, in the meantime, did finally get eliminated. We were so distracted by this, we neglected the detail that he was being pushed out entirely by State. Somewhat expected, but because of the assistance coming in from the Eastern Munch, it comes a lot quicker than anticipated. So Beastie first out. Nero at least gets to say that, you know, I last longer than Beastie. To be honest, he might have lasted even longer if he didn't decide to rile up Core. Oof. And, well, we're looking for that final landmark. I think Poppy Paw is actually trying to protect Nero, but this might be enough torch damage to just end it. Seems hesitation was on the mind at M7. He's just going to back away for the time being. To be honest, there's really not much left in Nero's base. Nero, he's got 60 eco, but most of that is traders and fishing boats, so limited way of rebuilding. In fact, does he have any villagers? 33. Okay. Where are they hiding? Oh. Oh. Ooh. Okay, Nero. Turns out what was meant to protect the trade will now protect the home. He has taken a corner for himself. There's a poetic beauty in almost dying to Core and then surviving in a corner. And that's going to happen again. Usually we're used to seeing Core being the one in the corner, which of course he did down here. How's Core looking otherwise? I mean, he's starting to get the outpost set up. His food lines are fully stabilized again. Like, he's not in that terrible position as long as M7 decides that he doesn't know how going up works, right? If the only way that the blue person could do it is with a blue pill. Because if he does go east instead, Core gets to exist. But if at any stage M7 draws his attention north, I think Core gets slapped out. To be fair, though, like, the way this game is playing out now, State and M7 should get into conflict quickly. Alternatively, Avali could get pulled into State's battle. Now, if that happens, I think M7's free to kind of raid Core. But that is the requirement for Core to kind of feel threatened. Because so far, Poppy Paw really doesn't have much interest in shutting him down. I mean, Poppy Paw... I guess he learned from his brother in the Outback Octagon, right? Why make war when you can just be, I don't know, be the landlord, I guess? Just let everyone exist. Just don't get involved. Although he will get involved soon, because of course he is up in Imperial Age, and he has got access to the big boy guns. Nestabees and the Hui Pow. Ready to play. I just keep nursing. Munch has just been completely ignored. Some would say neglected, but, you know, like, neglect suggests that you didn't want to be left alone. He most definitely did in this situation. He continues to extend an outpost network for any sort of early sign-off on someone coming in. And it looks like the person trying to get in is State as it stands. Interesting conflict on the way here between the two. State decides the trebuchets are overrated. We'll lead them to the Wolves as he tries to take the main clash. Clash that he'll start to gain ground on, and he needs to do quickly because he knows that behind this, Munch is one of only 2 players remaining trading. Maybe that could turn down to 1 soon. If there's a way for M7 to get in, he essentially just completely sidesteps Core and goes directly after Poppy Paw's trade. Poppy Paw would be happy about this, but won't be too phased, right? I think he's in a much better position. M7 is only pushing mass men at arms, and Magadai at this stage, despite the fact that base damage got nerfed, I think once you reach elite Magadai like this, it's still a solid solution against slow-moving MAA. Meanwhile, bro, let it die. Well, no, don't let him die. But, like, the grudge is over. You got your vengeance. Core, this is... this is the battle of the dogs right now. Both of these players have been gut-punched, crotch-stomped, full-on fanny wallop. I don't know what other kind of weird British term I can come up with. They've been shellacked. And instead of being like, maybe we should get vengeance on the bourgeoisie, they decide to just keep killing each other. Oh dear. And you know, it's not like it's because Core has something against corner players, because if he's in his back, they're legit. Honestly, there were words exchanged, folks. I'm calling it now. Some comments may have been said about Niru's mother. You know, some comment may have been made. What was it about Niru? You can be honest here. What did he say? Tell us. I can't imagine it's smooth, because Core doesn't strike me as the most flirtatious type, so he probably just said something like, Niru, your mum's got a big ass. And Niru's response was quite simply, Core, nothing can be a bigger ass than you. And all of a sudden, for 50 minutes straight, this is all it's going to be between the two. So apparently he was just so adamant on killing you because you were trading. Got it. So Core, like, ran past Puppy Paw trading. Must have known in some way that Mr. Munch is trading. But still, you know, I'm honest, I'm starting to think Core is just like yellow. Something about yellow just drives him nuts, maybe. Is it, like, do dogs have that with a certain color? I don't think it's yellow. I know bulls have that with red. All right, and it looks like Avali is the bull. And he got some horns. And he's looking at a full stick at Mr. Munch. That's going to be a shutdown of all the trading that's going on here. Mr. Munch, remember, he was just in direct conflict with State, so doesn't really have a clear standing army to defend himself with. Perfect time for Avali to strike. Avali, who has so far really been left alone. Looks like there was a rebuild of the army by Mr. Munch, but the army's getting munched on. It's kind of crazy, right? They've got the Yam on their side, but still, they just struggle to gap close this entire while, and all because of the Whistling Arrows upgrade, meaning that the maneuver arrow lasted so damn long. Avali will make his way on the backside. There's plenty of eco to snipe here, you notice, and you remember how this always gets in the Mongols. This is what we expected, by the way, mass Magadai, because it's so easy to eliminate pretty much the entire economy of the Mongols. Because at this stage in the game, you know, you check each of these bases, there's going to be a common pattern here, isn't there? Food. Lots of food on one tiny location. It's the predictable nature of the Mongols. A beast that's all too obvious. Avali says, okay, not going to end your base right now. Let's just remove some vision in the meantime. Corey, bro, you got to let it go. All right, who dies first, chat? Core or Niru? Get your bets in now. Make your predictions. Man, I think Niru has just been pushed to the very edge, though, like in an awkward way, right? Like, he's limited in space, limited in long-term resources. He's still trying to trade, and Core won't let him. Core isn't trading, on the other hand, which means he's kind of gold finite as the game goes on, but I don't think he's worried. I mean, he's got 4 gold stacks to himself. And weirdly enough, everyone is okay with this. I guess it's because for some players, they'll just trade instead, right? So, whoop-de freaking doo-dah. No kind of decisive strike from any players right now, right? You just got small raiding. Core's just trying to block out the trade Niru. Avali is slowly just trying to restrict vision away from Mr. Munch, while he continues to kind of stockpile behind this, right? If we check the banks, we can see Avali's holding onto a horde of resources. He's prepped for the next step, a slow comp probably. After the Magadai get wiped out, you just kind of switch over to something like Men-at-Arms plus Siege. You can even just think about sticking with Magadai and getting 1 or 2 bombards to deal with buildings. Because we talked about this, right? The big issue with the Magadai comp is it very much struggles to do this, to kill buildings. Like, I know he's getting through it, but that's a lot of Magadai for a tiny outpost. Well, M7 has been very quiet for a long time. So him and State very clearly have an alliance. You can tell by now, like, if it wasn't obvious, like they have not touched each other whatsoever. It was very early from what's the one for a very early phase in the game. We'll just use the word early a lot, screw it. Because they just started building mass fishing and never touched each other. It's interesting that there was no conflict there, considering that, you know, it's kind of a finite resource. Sure, deep water fish do respawn over time, but when you're fishing like this, I truly do fear for the tuna population. Someone's saying only one sacred site. No, there are 3 sacred sites. So 2 of them are controlled by red right now. 1 of them is somehow still controlled by Niru. However, Avli is trying to fin those defenses. The Magadai drive-by continues. And a second wave is building up behind this, so still only Magadai coming out from him. M7 providing more of a burn-down force here. Horsemen plus the men-at-arms. We've reached that kind of awkward phase, right? BC's been eliminated, so you know there's no one who's going to try this master maneuvering of lying about who's trading and building in a landmark and plus wonder in the corner. Instead, you kind of have this awkward phase where everyone's kind of waiting to a certain extent for someone else to build that wonder, to become the target for everybody else. And big shout out to Parfake. I see you coming through with sub. Appreciate the support. Oh, you know what? These are the type of games that get you your value out of your Prime sub, by the way. Imagine how long these games can go and how many ads could infringe upon your ability to watch. Don't be bamboozled like that. Don't miss out a critical moment where Avali has a heart attack, falls on his keyboard, and right-clicks his army into 1,000,000 cannon placements. Don't be that guy. Honestly, I just don't find the hand cannon is that impressive here. I mean, the thing that's making it kind of okay for Munch is you notice that Munch keeps throwing the lances at the front lines, the hand cannoneers don't get targeted. But, like, long-term, this isn't going to work out for him. It's very expensive. Yeah, it keeps his trade going for the time being, but he's kind of gambling that no one else gets involved. For the time being, the right side of the map is just a 1v1, and the left side is a 2v2v1 in a very weird way. Right, Niru is being attacked by Core and Puppy Paw. Although they may not defend each other, have this truce, and I think State and M7 are somewhat working together. I know this is not a tournament, folks. I think people have learned their lesson when they try to make this type of format a tournament. It doesn't end very well. Usually there's quite a lot of drama associated with it. I think we all recall Outback Octagon and how Drongo probably ended up shaving his whole head bald off the back of that. Shouldn't say out loud like that. I think Drongo was just beginning to forget about it. We should never remind him of it, because if we don't remind him of it, he might actually make another one. He just needs to forget it first. Avali. You'd think Mr. Munch maybe forgot that this was going to happen. Wasn't too long ago that he lost pretty much all the traders to this one raid, and once again, guess who's back? But we nerfed Magadai. Yeah, but that's not going to stop me in a giant-ass map like this. Oh, Mr. Munch. I mean, he's still got a lot of land eco. He's really not too... Okay, he's pretty worse for wear. Really? Double TC, I feel like he should be better off. Has there not been... Oh, I don't think there's been consistent villager production at all times. I think he became a little bit too reliant on the traders. And once that got shut down, he just hadn't scaled his villages, right? So, like, most of his eco, if we check it, I wouldn't be surprised if half of his traders. Okay, yeah, well, half it was. Now, like, 95 villages total. Pretty much because all the traders are gone. I have, like, complete pawn in the side. Fawn in the side with this. Not pawn. I mean, that's a different kind of shafting. Looking at the lay of the lands, though, you know, one big issue that you do have for Avali here is a lack of gold now. Like, he's exhausted himself. So building more Magadite is going to become problematic for him. We check back in the base. Did he actually pick up any relics? He got 2. That's not really going to pay for mass Magadite. So he either needs to expand onto the sacred site in the north, or he just needs to transition unit type. I actually think you could break this sacred site and get the gold. The only problem is it kind of puts you in direct line of sight with other players, such as Avali and M7. State finally reaches Imperial Age. I was so used to everyone just being there that I didn't realize he hadn't got there yet. He's been too busy building villages instead. I believe that is 7 TCs. As you do. I don't think anyone else can compete with that. We've got a third one coming up here. We don't count this one because it doesn't exist. I know Nero's in the chat, so let me just zoom in so he can remember this is no longer his. Only 2 over in Red's camp. I think we had 3 in Core's base. Poppy Paw was a 2 TC boy. And then M7 was 2 TCs. So yeah, State is kind of done crazy things here. I mean, you could just throw a bunch of villagers away at torching down buildings. Yeah, State is just playing long con, by the way. The reason you do 7 TCs like this is he knows he doesn't need to fight now, so he's just going to get enough resources to consider a wonder victory down the line. And cool little detail here. Remember, Beastie got eliminated, so he's using the dock that belonged to Beastie to get baby trade going. I think that was about 38 gold. Yeah, 38 gold, free food, free wood. It's not a lot, but what you're seeing from State is he's trying to remain silent while hoarding, right? He doesn't have to actually spend anything on military. So although this will take a long time, and I really want to reiterate, this will take a really long time. Eventually, he'll be able to afford this. He just needs to get 8,000 gold while accumulating about 400 to 500 a min. Oh god, it hurts. So this is going to take at least 16 minutes. And on top of that, State needs to, you know, get tech upgrades still. He needs to make sure he's got surplus gold for an army. Folks, State, like, if State is going to win this game, it's going to take him probably 30 more minutes without being attacked. Luckily for him, M7 doesn't want to murder his face. Although these cannon emplacements kind of think different of that. Man, we really have hit a stalemate, haven't we? This is what I talked about, though. Like, this is kind of the awkward thing. I've discussed this before with Nomad and free-for-alls. Like, you need to incentivize players to end the game quicker. That's why the idea of the Battle Royale was hilarious, but kind of interesting, right? It's why I've begged for this idea of care packages to exist, right? Where, like, you know, care packages or objectives you have to fulfill. Maybe, like, a care package is a temporary sacred site that once you capture it, you get a giant chunk of resources. These type of things. It's going to force players to come and commit. Because right now, Nero is just... we probably shouldn't pay too much attention to Nero. He's just organizing his revenge plot against Core. This will be mass horseman into a torch down attempt. Mr. Munch is trying to rebuild his trade now that he's not being harassed completely by Avali. Spoke too soon because Avali has one goal in mind, and that's to be the one true ruler in the East. Outside that, oh, Core's going. Core has actually forced M7 to do something. M7 who's been sitting back on his hands playing pat cake. Don't ask me how you do that. I know, you're sitting on your hands in that situation. That's exactly why it hasn't been working out for him. Core with the big boy raid. It's going to hit deep. And M7, you can see the impact on his economy. Oh, his military pop cap, everything just feels like it's been disintegrated here. And remember, this has a ripple effect. Because Core doesn't have to stop here. If he goes a little bit south, he could ruin State's day as well. He's not slowing down either. Men-at-Arms also being laid in, so he has torch through on the buildings. You can see M7 wanted to basically do the same thing State was doing. He wanted to go full eco. And now Core, with just a small vanguard of Magadai, could completely take a dump on State's plan. We said, what, 25, 30 minutes? It could be 40. But it looks like Core, he's feeling charitable today. He's going to walk away. Oh my god. Wait, does Avali... Okay, so everyone is just letting State exist. So I'm guessing they can see scores in lobbies, and that's why so far no one but Core has been bullying these two players. But it is incredibly Jabet to just go on scores alone, especially the Mongols. Like, this is not indicative of what's really happening in this game. Like, maybe it's in some ways on, like, resources. So, for example, if I check Core, yeah, the resource bag is pretty absurd. But, like, if I look at, you know, I don't think Avali's position is that good. Like, he's got a lot of food, but we talked about the gold limitation. Like, he's been kind of fighting tooth and nail to get out. You know, his score makes a bit more sense now, but it was pretty high before he even got in this gold vein. Now he's going to stick at the Core. Core, who decided to bully the underdeveloped player, is now being bullied back. However, that's a lot of cannonballs. I believe this is what they call 10-pin Mongols. Oof. I have to look away. It's too violent. Volley. Huh. Meanwhile, in the line of Niru, the build-up continues. Unhindered. The Horseman mass is scaling, though. He's waiting for his moment. I can tell Niru, he's been sitting on this feeling for a long time, you know? In life, they say it's unhealthy to push down your feelings, but he's been doing it, and he's about ready to burst wide open. Just waiting for his moment. Probably all chat typing, guys, is Core almost dead, question mark? Oh, he's looking kind of dead in this fight. He at least has production advantage on the defensive, but the Magadai will just run him down and keep him chasing after his own tail. Remember behind this, I mean, Avali is good guy defender of the innocent, defender of the weak. Because State and M7 get to just continue to boom because of Avali's cover fire. Meanwhile, Mr. Munch has not been raided in a while. I shouldn't say that too loudly or Avali might hear me. M7. Oh, he came in for vengeance. They were talking about how Core was turning the whole lobby against him. Well, it turns out the whole lobby has turned on Core. Over-ambitious in his desires. Yeah, historically, it's usually a bad idea to attack the north and the south. He done that. It was his mistake. Now, usually for the Germans, it's attacking the east and west, but in this situation, it's played a different direction of the compass, and it's definitely cost him. Core just having to run all the way back home to protect his investment. But wave after wave coming in. Core, a frightful situation now emerges for him. Food isn't looking as good as it once was, especially with his direct eco source where all the pastures are located, being raided like this. Great move out of M7. M7 can afford to do this for quite a while as well, mind you. Will needs access to more wood, but food is looking thumbs up. And not just them. Mr. Munch is now coming around. And it's also the push from Niru. The whole world has turned against Core. I don't know what it is about this man. Maybe it's a punchable face or the words he says, but he really has a way of making enemies. 3 players have come together to create the true Mongol horde. And Core, well, the cannon emplacements will protect him for the time being. I say protect him, it's all dead anyway. Like, his eco is gone. In fact, I don't really know what Core's plan was with all these outposts. Maybe it was a wander down the line, or maybe he was planning on an excursion into the next map. He might need to make that excursion ahead of time at this rate. At this rate? Because it looks like Core could very quickly become the next player eliminated in the Nomad free-for-all. Niru, he's like, wait. This looks like blue too. I'm going to kill... No, Niru, it's a different kind of blue. Chill. Bruh. What did M7... Actually, no, in fairness, M7, yeah, he did. He did kind of murder your whole base, so this is justified. Oh my god, Niru is Palpatine. Look at him go. So, Core has been stripped down. He has still got his primary eco in his main base, but Core has been spending a lot of gold. Yeah. Quite a lot of gold. This is going to be problematic, folks, because Core has only got 1,000 gold left. Okay, ignore me. He's got 20,000 in the bank. Core might be German, but he's clearly Swiss at heart. That's a lot of gold. I mean, so he can't really go Lancers. He's going to go with some Lancers, right? But, like, Lancers alone is not going to win this for you. He kind of needs them to a certain extent to defend this wide array of bases he's got, because Core is rebuilding. Oh, dude, can people just kill each other already? Like, maybe Regicide was right. I can't believe how often people are getting to worm their way through. Have you guys seen State's base? Yeah, he left room for it. How long ago was it we were mapping out how much time he would need? I think it was like 15 minutes ago. We still got some time to go, but he's getting there. Good lord. Well, cool. Once again, heads into M7's base. Poppy Paw, by the way, has been peaceful. Okay, so this move from Poppy Paw, I would usually be a big fan of it in a game like this, to just rush and end landmarks. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Mongol-only free-for-all. If I see all these rams coming at me, I'm going to pack my landmark up and roleplay as a ram. So he'll need to make sure he's got enough Magadai to make this work. Because the whole idea is you force a pack up and then you pinch it with the Magadai. And remember, when buildings are packed up, they have 0 ranged armor. So they'll die incredibly quickly. Considering the Magadais are designed to shred, right? They had some nerfs targeted around their damage output, but it gave an attack speed buffer. And why does... What? What? Why do the Magadai have no damage? What? Okay, like, this is a 1,000,001 UI problems. Like, I can't even. Why do the Magadai do no damage? Like, bruh. Can we not break crap when we update the game, please? It's like this bug just went by unnoticed because no one's building Magadai in 1v1s anymore. So these should have about, I think it's 13 damage at this stage. I want to say 13, maybe more. I don't know. Avali, have you still got Magadai so we can check? All right, Avali's not at home right now. He can't tell. Everything else has damage. The Magadai just don't. Now, the Rams, on the other hand, they have plenty of damage, and the shuffle-on commences. Now, folks, hear me out. You get so many Rams that you surround the White Stupa so it can't run away. I'm going to stop now. And yes, you are correct, Roadkill. We're 50 minutes in the game, and only Beastie is dead. Only 1,658 score. Well, Mao. Yeah, he got pinched quite early. It's been a while since someone has died. I feel like it's going to be a while until someone dies. Like, we might just have to rely on a wonder victory to decide a victor here. I like how State's like, I need the extra room for the time being. I'll save this later for the wonder, but for now, more axes, please. Where is Poppy Paw going? Has Core just typed something to him like, I'm not the problem. Mr. Munch is trading. Actually, yeah, that does sound like Core. Oh, it's the Wonder. The Wonder's being built. There it is. It was sneaking in. We hadn't noticed it yet mid-construction. So there you are, folks. Mr. Munch blinks first. They're going to attempt a Wonder victory. It's going to be a long time to defend that. I mean, someone had to give in eventually. I guess Mr. Munch just got bored because 15 minutes defending against 6 other players is not easy. Folks, we have seen it before, but it did require the opponents to be somewhat disorganized, and it also most definitely did require walls. 2 things that I don't think are going to be there this time. People make an argument. He does have a good spot for it. It's true. He's created a natural wall, a tunnel point with this wood line, but still, you have to hold against 6 opponents. Okay, that might be easy if this is how it's going to go. Poppy Paw's like, sorry, just shooting people in the face. Sorry, oh, guys, it happened again. I just can't hold back. I gotta unload. Bloody Magadai. They're gonna make their way through, though. Once again, excuse me, sets in as the Rams shuffle through one by one. Bombards are slowly making their way through from the other side of Avali, so he's going to whittle away at the defenses. Mr. Munch has started to extend that outpost line, so continues to try to block people out. But folks, you know, we are only like a minute in. Yeah. I'm not sure Mr. Munch has enough lines of outposts and whatnot to slow this down. Look at the open space towards his base. here. And then just a little bit further to reach the Monument of the Great Khan. He may jump the gun. You guys realize that when you zoom out like this, the Monument of the Great Khan looks like it's been beheaded? You have to zoom in and realize it's a very fancy hat. Also, what is the army comp of Mr. Munch? That's awkward. So his massed hand cannoneers against 65 ranged armor, perhaps? With 546 health each? And he's only got 22 lancers and 90 villagers. This could be problematic. Mr. Munch, for the time being, though, will use those hand cannoneers elsewhere. Able to wipe out Avali's army, but not able to press the matter. Instead, he's going to have to go defensive because Poppy Paw is on his way in. And the villager Paw, oh no, the worst possible move, Magadai! They can chase this down. Now, luckily, he disengages just in time. Otherwise, that would have been an absolute massacre. That would have been half of the eco of Mr. Munch just dead. So quick reactions out of him to save himself from despair. Army is on the way home to try and defend, but Rams are going to make their way in. And these choke points are his worst enemy. So what do you do about the choke points? You remove them. Flash on the flank as the Rams make their way through. Now, even if this fails, I'm pretty sure Puppy Paw can afford it. Yep, he can most definitely afford another wave afterwards. And he's prepping for one. Unlimited Ram push is coming, so he understands his role in the team. These Rams! Look at how ineffective hand cannoneers are. This is pathetic. Bro, what are you doing? Shooting wood? Actually, it does kind of look like they're shooting wood at it. It's gonna get so deep. Even the cannons only do 1 damage. Oh, sorry, no, they do. Let me math that quickly for you. 6 damage per shot. Ram, 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 ram. Ramification intensifies. I thought I had to go to a shady website to buy more RAM, but it turns out I can just build them in Age of Empires 4. And look at the villager mass. Good God. 76 of them, and it still doesn't even feel that quick. Puppy Paw with 1 RAM play has just opened the gates for someone else to end Mr. Munch. This is absurd. He finally cleaned them up. But, folks, no one said that that was the only Rams coming. Puppy Paw can very easily send another mass in, but I don't think you'll need to. Avali's on the way with, oh, holy mother of Bombard. 13 big boomers. Ready to kill all these little zoomers. Hand cannoneers can try to make their way in, but remember, they hit Bombards for 1 damage each. These are just giant sniper rifles at this point. He needs to get rid of the spears. He wants to get in. Spears numbers are decreasing, but Mr. Munch just needs to commit now. He's kind of sidestepping the matter in an awkward way that's costing him more troops than need be. Finally make his way in, but Bombards, if they just start targeting down the Lancers, they can still trade out reasonably well here. He's going to lose the army, but Mr. Munch has been reduced to rubble here. Look at the food, look at the gold. Replacing his lost army is not going to be an easy task. At least be able to get more Lancers, but the hand cannoneers are the bigger concern. And it's coming again. Oh. You know, some people fear Wham, but Puppy Paw is trying to tell people to fear Ram. This is absurd. 1 pop cap unit. Let's build 50 of them. Sure. Why not? You got space for it. Go. Oh, good God. I don't know how you hold this. So, like, there's a new wave coming. If it was just the Rams, sure. But it's like, it's not just the Rams. This is going to prevent you from doing anything with the Lancers. That's all that matters. Send in the boys. Hold on a sec. Let me get... Hold on a sec, guys. This is really missing something. Let me just go ahead and get you the appropriate song. Okay. So, fight is coming in. Looks like he could hold for a second in the choke points, but it looks like he's being somewhat overwhelmed. And what's that coming over the hill? They're here. They fear no human being. The unstoppable tide of the Rams. Villager versus Ram. Who would win? Well, I'd favor the Villagers, but this is not a one-sided fight. It's too harsh for that. People identifying this ain't 32 gigs, this is an odd number beyond that. We're almost at 64 gigs of RAM. Nothing short of a memory leak will save Mr. Munch from full obliteration. He does the only thing he can. He kills the thing that would kill him quicker. Bombard's removed. Rams on their way in. Outpost completely ignored. Wham! No! Ram! And Poppy Paw says there can be only one great card. And it is not you, imposter! Goodbye, Mr. Munch. Sleep well, sweet prince. A hope and a dream. But you just got reamed. Mr. Munch remains only at their mercy. They leave his town center alive, but his base and his dreams of winning this game are in complete disarray. And Poppy Paw now can become the true king if he chooses, but why rush? Let Core wear himself out, because Core, like a snake in the grass, took out M7, burnt him to a cinders. The Great Alliance was betrayed. Will there now be a coalition against Teal? It begins. State looks to avenge M7 as he starts to ram his way through. Wait a second, do we need to put it back on? No, not yet. Wait, Mr. Munch has given up. He wants to go and hug his kids and tell them how much he loves them. What he saw will stay with him for the rest of his Empire, Age of Empires rather, career. And good, oh my God, no, stay. Come. I can't even. Stay, how many finishes is that? Can't be working if you gotta get dying. All right, that's a lot of dead villagers. State needed those resources, sure, but I don't think you need them that much. Sure. Meanwhile, folks, do you notice a gap? Poppy Paw's prepping. While everyone plays with themselves, he waits for his opportunity. He knows in the next few minutes he can prep himself for an unstoppable wonder victory. He's got his proxy bases laid around, ramification ready to go on every front. Avali, for the time being, decides he doesn't want to be too much of a nuisance because he needs to clean up a problem in his base. Oh my God, it's happening again. Not quick enough to kill him. but annoying enough to frustrate him. How has Puppy Paw not turned the entire map against him yet? I'm not sure. If I saw what he'd done to Munch and, like, I would be fearful. And now, if I'm Avali seeing what's happening here, surely I'm trying to convince everyone who the true Sith Lord is. But no one is likely to listen. Niru is his pet at this phase. He doesn't really want to mess with him. He wants to avoid any conflict with him at any phase. Instead, Niru, in fact, I think he just said, hello, I'm a big Puppy Paw fan. Let's work together. Let's kill Avali. Yay. At least that's the way it feels, because Niru is completely just sidestepping the opponent right in front of him. I don't think you can sidestep him for much longer, though. Niru says that him and Puppy were homies since minute 3. That is true. So Niru, every phase that like he's considered maybe backstabbing Puppy Paw, Puppy Paw's been like, you know, I didn't attack you, you didn't attack me, we were trading bros. We're still trading bros. But, you know, maybe you want to be petty about this. Maybe Puppy Paw is like, I need to kill you. Why are you getting 2 more gold than me, bro? Now instead, he's gonna play interception, keep Avali out of the mixer, just keep Core and State focused on each other. And at that point, Puppy Paw just should have the freest game of his life. I'm trying to figure out whether they could even stop Puppy Paw at this phase. So, guys, hear me out. Here's the catch. You need more siege workshops than this, because you need enough ramps. Oh, man. Even mangoes as well. Yeah, Puppy Paw knows. He knows it's easy peasy. Wonder on the way. Begin to wonder who can truly stop him. Avali. The Rohirrim Force on the way. We'll have to dive by so many cannon outposts, not to mention the Mangonels that can threaten him as well. Nesta Bees also layered in. The premium boys are here. Yes, please do get rid of the Hui Hui Pow. Not really known for its great defensive use. Niru, will he betray his bro? Will he realize that it is not the man that he once knew? Will he realize that Puppy Paw has been tempted by the dark side? That he walked in, prevented the last rise of the Great Khan, but looked at it with such amazement and inspiration that he wanted to follow in its footsteps. We'll find out. For now, it does feel like it's just Avali. State finally on the way. Core amassing on the western flank. Will block out the trade, so limits the resources that Puppy Paw can have. But with 30k in the bank, I don't think he gives a damn. Niru, he must do it. He must strike down his former friend, his brother. Puppy Paw continues mass troops in the center, more outposts on the way. Everything outside the base, all the colonies far abroad, they do not exist in the mind of Puppy Paw. Mass Horsemen may actually betray them here. In fact, Mass Horsemen may bait them into thinking they could end this game fast enough. The amount of bombards we are seeing built, ladies and gentlemen, means that any attempt to rush through with Horsemen here between the bombards and the cannon placements will kill you off. Niru targets the villages, costs him dearly. First line of cavalry is disintegrated. Their assaults are staggered here. They're actually going to give Puppy Paw an extra 2 or 3 minutes for free because of what they're doing here. They need to come in together. This delay is just going to cost them too much. We're going to switch off Puppy Paw's view because that's way too many red markers up on our screen. People want to see what's happening on the minimap instead of looking like they're checking out a game of battleships. In fact, screw it. Go crazy. 4 different areas are being assaulted right now. They're trying to remove the reduction, right? They're trying to prevent Puppy Paw from replacing a lost army. But this is burning into their time. This doesn't really feel substantial enough. Like, I'm wondering where the hell is Core's army? I think, yeah, he had a wood issue, so he's trying to resolve that now. As he's mainly pushing horsemen and spears. He could just push unlimited hand cannoneers. The problem is they would just die to all these emplacements. Needs something extra in there. Yeah, there is no synchronicity here. Oof. This really is like watching people try to take down Palpatine in his office. Yeah, just stand still while I kill two of you. I mean, Nero just walked in on his lonesome. State is busy burning the buildings down, as is Averly. Just feels like Nero didn't get the memo there. Now he has to rebuild the army. Now, in terms of resource bank, he has got enough food to do so. Every time you lose a force like that, you know, it soft resets you, right? It slows down your timing. And also this, by the way, we didn't even talk about the fact, the big difference between what we saw on the other side of the map. Kurultai is next to the Monument of the Great Khan. All these bombards are jacked. Look at the damage increase right now. This is absurd. It's just not going to be easy to deal with. I mean, he's at a stage where he can almost one-hit anything, feels like. They're trying to eliminate extra bombards coming through. Poppy Paw. Always trying to set military pop cap. Almost all these villages have been removed from the board. Gives him more military to push. Spin will look to clean up, and that is a wipe of an army, ladies and gentlemen. Averly, what on earth were you thinking? I don't know if he was thinking much. Last thing to go through his mind was a cannonball. Quite a lot of them at that. The Rams are on the way, though. Cool. Try to get an original idea. Instead, he just steals the one that Poppy Paw had. Max Rams here. Max Rams up against the bombards. Not the best of situations to find yourself in. You know, you are tanky, but this many bombards can just blow you up. The spears are just getting freebies. I mean, cool. The problem is he can't dive in for the siege on the other side. It's just too many bloody emplacements. I mean, do I need to turn down the volume of the game? Can you guys hear all right? Like a 1,000-gun salute over here. God. I think I will need to turn down the volume after this game. This is absurd. Let's move to Beastie's view. We don't have to have any obstructions on the minimap that way. Yeah, because he's dead. Actually nice that you can do that. Now, there is a tick down, a win condition, but when did they capture it? Sacred Sites, I think, were on a delay, I want to say. Because we don't have capture age, so we can't tell. But I'm pretty sure that they still have to kill the Wonder for Poppy Paw to lose. Like, I'm pretty sure Averly captured all these Sacred Sites afterwards. And wait, what? And Niru, bruh, whose side are you on right now? He's intercepting the capture. Oh, wow, and Poppy Paw, he used the proxy base. So this is going to delay it long enough that actually, wow, so they must have actually captured the Sacred Sites quick enough to stop the Wonder victory, but this pull here, the start off with Niru getting the decap slightly, and now the Congo line of troops coming out from Poppy Paw should buy enough time that they have to go back in. So Sacred Site time was short by 2 minutes. Yeah, but that 2 minutes is evaporating fast here. In fact, they might even still get the decap. It's going to be tight at this rate. He cleans up, but Rams are on the way. And folks, there needs to be communication here. Averly needs to be telling them what the hell is happening and what they need to stop. But then again, if you're the other guys, do you care? In your eyes, like, you know, it's just a different person winning, right? Do you want to be Kingmaker or the king himself? Oh, Core is trying to be the jester, as he's going to Congo line in everybody to their death. I mean, this is just a conveyor belt of death at this stage. He arrives and dives. He arrives, he dies. He arrives, he dies. He's finally realized it, but maybe lost us again. Averly, I mean, he can't stop this now. There's just too many Rams here. He did build into the Bao Chuan. And he is bringing the horseman back. Okay, so he might be able to hold on in this area, but if he doesn't take out this proxy base, there's always a risk of a decap. So that risk won't come from the Rams alone. You need some military units here. Looking at the countdown, I mean, how much did he shave off that? I feel like he had it paused. He must have paused the Sacred Site time for at least a minute. So, folks, we've probably got an incredibly close ending here. There must be a minute between it. Between Sacred Site and Wonder Victory timer. And I imagine enough was done here. Because Puppy Paw has stopped pushing troops to try and intercept this. And he's definitely got enough resources to keep pushing. Nero is complaining. He's like, we could have stopped Puppy if Avali didn't capture Sacred Site. Now he's had time, some breathing room. True, and you now are all out of position. Which is problematic because it means you might just Congo line in. I mean, Core has been non-stop headbutting this wall on his own. Proxy base will get cleaned up, but I mean, at this point, if I'm in this game and I feel so, let's put ourselves in Neru's place, right? Neru has the feeling that like they could have stopped Puppy Paw before he got the Wonder Victory if Avali hadn't switched the script. Now I kind of feel like I'm in a position of kingmaker. Who do I want to be king? I feel like I'd be bitter at the guy that ruined our chances of like me winning. So I'd probably just take out the guy that ruined a world in which I could still come back in. Because like Neru has no opportunity to win this unless he can now block the Sacred Sites and finish off Puppy Paw. But because he's focusing on the Sacred Site, look at the timer. 6 minutes remaining? I mean, sure, Puppy Paw is not going to be rebuilding his defenses quickly with one villager. But he's completely unharassed. His eco is not going to be stretched, not going to be burnt. You know, most of his buildings are gone. He's got a few archery ranges over here, though, which can keep pushing out hand cannons as he needs. Wow. I mean, this is... I think Puppy Paw wins this at this rate. Like, if Arily doesn't allow them to just decap, if he doesn't just say, guys, just take the decap, it's fine, then this is just going to turn into a grudge match between the two. And while Mom and Dad fight, I don't know, the uncle runs away with the kingdom. I guess we're Lion King now. This is... It's only cool. I am somewhat perplexed by this choice. Not to the Rams, I'm fine with that from Core. Although, admittedly, on its own, it's not going to really work out against this many bombards. Folks, we are less than 5 minutes away, and Neru is slow sieging the Sacred Site. And oh my god, Avali's actually reacting to it. Okay, so Avali clearly either A, has somewhere to be, or B, doesn't think he can win any other way. Because there's no other reason you commit to this. Maybe he's just bored. Because this is genuinely allowing Puppy Paw to win the game. We are 4.5 minutes away. Now, Stay, he sounds like a voice of reason, one that everyone can believe in. Can he please just tell them to stop bloody fighting? Because this is getting... Oh, no, he's fighting as well. Can everyone just tell Avali to stop bloody fighting? The decap has commenced. He is going to lose the Sacred Site victory condition. They now need to run for Puppy Paw's base instantly. Big Daddy Stay comes in and resolves the grudge. What a lad. And now they have to be looking at Avali and going, can we please get back on track? Can you please delete the Baochuans for the love of God? Avali is feeling a little bit stubborn. He says no. Screw your Rams, Baochuans win. Meanwhile, someone who cannot win on their own is Core. Core, once again, into the depths. I don't even know if it deserves this music. I don't think it's intense enough. But Core will try. I don't think that it deserves this music. Get through the line. Just touch the Great Khan. He can't reach it. His little ram ain't long enough. We are 2.5 minutes away from a wonder victory. And Core, he gave everything he had. That Ram army is not going to rebuild quickly. 71 Rams have gone to their grave. A moment of silence for the Rams that were. Sorry, it's hard to have a moment. Okay, over here. A moment of silence. F's in the chat. Rams' lives matter. Okay, they only matter for like 2 seconds. Let's get back to the murder. Core doesn't deserve that music. He tried. And if it wasn't for the grudge matches, if it wasn't for the petty squabbling over the sacred site, Core could have cemented himself as the god here. But an alliance of one is an alliance of none. And Poppyport is now just 1.5 minutes away. Everyone has just given up. What a sad, sad ending to an amazing Mongol free-for-all. And how different it could have been if Avali didn't greedily yoink that sacred site and then force a back and forth between him and Nero, then forcing State to come and be the big daddy, and in the end, show Avali who the daddy is. Because State decides, if we're going to lose, you don't get to lose with us. You get to lose before us. And I don't blame him. This fate is deserved. With just 50 seconds left. And Landmark's dying. Can they kill off Avali quick enough? I don't think so. I think he gets to exist to the bitter end. But what a bitter ending to this. Oh wait, well, a little bit more music. No, I'm sorry, but I can't even fake it. You don't deserve it. Oh, sorry, it's not that you don't deserve it, but this raid attempt doesn't deserve it. There is simply no gasoline left in the car. State will reveal his true intentions at the end, but he won't even complete the monument in time. Poppyport, what a way to play this. Obliterate one of your opponents, come over the top, get an assist from your opponents on the sacred sites, but in the end, get the win for yourself.